Now we have lossless scaling on Steam Deck and we can up our FPS up to 4x. And this made me thinking, can we use lossless scaling and FSR frame generation together? We are going to try it in Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man Remastered and Hogwarts Legacy. Spider-Man Remastered, FSR 3 quality, no frame generation yet, just lossless scaling 4x and medium graphics preset. And look at that, we're already at 230, 200, 160, 219 FPS. That's too much of FPS. And game is very playable. I'm very surprised. And to be honest, I don't see any artifacts almost at all. Maybe slightly here and there, but picture is very consistent. And when we're flying through the streets, it's 160, 180. Wow. I can feel a little bit of like frame time spikes, but it is very smooth. I can totally play it like this and I am very impressed already. That's a lot of FPS and it is very smooth. Totally playable on Steam Deck already. Yeah, that is very impressive. And now let's check the latency. Okay. Yeah, it is almost instant. It is surprisingly very responsive. And now let's keep exactly the same settings, but switch on FSR frame generation. Remember, we're still at medium preset. And what is our FPS? It's 200 plus, 270, 240. Whoa. Whoa, I'm so impressed by this FPS. I can feel more latency, to be honest. Slightly. It is not deal breaker at all. I can totally control my character. But it is noticeable now because we have two frame generations. 4x lossless scaling and FSR 3 frame gen, I believe it's 2x. I can't believe we have this FPS, but I'm still feeling those frame time stutters. Slightly. It's not a deal breaker, but they're here. If you want to enjoy Spider-Man game on your Steam Deck while you're traveling, let's say in the bus, on the plane, right now, if you'll use just lossless scaling 2x or maybe 4x, you totally can now. It's not gonna go to like below 30 FPS. But I would not use frame gen with lossless scaling because it has a little bit too much of latency. See? You can totally see it. Yep. There is like microsecond delay when I jump, for example. This happens when two frame generations are working together. And now let's check latency without frame generation, only with lossless scaling 4x. As you can see, it is much better, much better. Not instant, but it is very close. And if I'll try to move thumbstick very quickly, let's see. Yeah, as you can see, it is almost instant. Spider-Man game with lossless scaling, it is very good combination. Ghost of Tsushima, FSR quality, medium graphics preset, no frame generation yet. Lossless scaling 4x, 70 flow scale. And in Ghost of Tsushima, we at 150 FPS. And latency is not that bad at all. It feels like standard frame generation. Everything is solid. I can totally control my character. I can totally play my game like this. At 150 FPS. And again, this is very impressive because you can totally play a game like this. Look at this. It's almost instant. There is slight delay, but I can play like this no problem at all. When I press jump button, it is almost instant. Very impressive. And especially on Steam Deck because it can't run this game really well. But now you can. You have to deal with slight latency. But it is not deal breaker, especially to me. I'm very latency sensitive. And this is not bad at all. Most likely, if we will set this game to low or lowest graphic settings, we won't have any latency at all. And now let's switch on frame generation in the game on top of lossless scaling 4x. And look at that, with 200 FPS. This is just crazy numbers. Wow. And we have more latency, of course, slightly more. You see, I can still control my character, but I cannot call it playable at all anymore. A little bit too much of latency because frame generation is working with frame generation together. But numbers are just ridiculous. And what's interesting, gameplay is very smooth. We are utilizing totally 90 Hz of our OLED screen right now. I can see it. Maybe this is just me and someone can totally play it like this. Look at this. Maybe a little bit too much, no? maybe a little bit too much. But it is so smooth, it's just ridiculous. Maybe if you play it like this a little bit longer, your brain will rewire itself and you won't see any latency anymore. But I would advise you use only lossless scaling 2x or 4x without built-in frame generation. You'll have very good experience. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, lossless scaling is on 4x, 70% flow scale, performance mode. I'm using FSR quality, no built-in frame generation yet, medium graphics preset, no motion blur. And inside the lobby, we are at 100 FPS, 123. And yeah, it is very smooth. Again, slight latency, but it's very manageable. Absolutely playable experience. We have lots of characters. Very heavy scene, to be honest, for Steam Deck especially. I think my brain is already adapted to this tiny latency which we have with lossless scaling. Now I think I can play any game with lossless scaling on and enjoy it on a Steam Deck. And Ratchet & Clank is more like an action-packed game, lots of controls, lots of movements, and you can see it is fine. And now let's switch on built-in frame generation. And our FPS is 180, 50, 160, and we have crazy latency. Now this is the latency, look at that. It is probably quarter of a second. Horrible latency, to be honest, look at that. Whoa. No, now it's not playable at all. So yeah, don't use frame generation with lossless scaling in Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, not a good idea, maybe just lossless scaling. Okay, let's use just lossless scaling 4x. I want to go to the arena to fight bad guys to see if it is actually playable. The first thing what I see, it is much smoother than before. Yeah, I can totally play it like this, look at that. Where are the guys? Yep, those two. And I can jump, I can control my character. It is absolutely playable. Wow, I'm enjoying it. I swear I can finish this game like this, no problem at all. I'm very input delay sensitive. And this is absolutely fine for me. And now Hogwarts Legacy, again lossless scaling 4x, 70% flow scale, performance option. We're using FSR quality, no built-in frame generation yet, medium graphics preset. We're at 160, 50 FPS in this area. Game still looks very sharp, very clean. And yeah, I can feel more latency than in Spider-Man and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. This game is definitely heavier. It is still controllable, you can still play it, but it's like teeny tiny more latency. To be honest, I would use 2x lossless scaling. I already used it in other video and there was almost no latency. Very playable. Hogwarts Legacy runs on Unreal Engine and Unreal Engine is very stuttery and heavy to run. Look at this, oh my god. So it is not lossless scaling, it's more like Unreal Engine. It's a little bit too heavy or broken. But as you can see, I can still aim. I can still control my character. It runs on OK level. I can still play it, but I would use 2x lossless scaling. For some reason, that one is much better. And now let's switch on FSR frame generation on top of lossless scaling. And look at that, from like 30 FPS we went to 200 FPS. 200. We have more latency, of course, because two frame gens working together. But this is ridiculous. Look at these numbers, and picture quality is still very stable. I can see everything perfectly clear. I'm shocked why picture quality is so stable. We're using two frame gens one another. Basically it's like a 6x frame gen. And so far, oh, we dropped some FPS. See the stutters? It is Unreal Engine. I think it's loading the area. And now it is smooth again. I'm curious. Let's set lowest possible graphic settings. Will it play better? Okay, let load, and 200, 230, 220. Latency is slightly better. Yes, definitely. I think we have more base FPS right now. And game looks still quite good on Steam Deck. It is much better experience than on Switch. We finally arrived to Hogsmeade. We are still at 200 FPS. We have lots of stutters because Hogsmeade is very heavy area to run. We have two frame gens one on another. And I can feel sometimes more latency than before. I think when it drops to like 150, then you have more latency. 230, you're fine. Now when we're at lowest graphic settings, let's switch off built-in frame gen and use only lossless scaling 4x. We are right now at 160 FPS and latency is much better, like miles better. It's not like in Spider-Man or Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, but this is okay. I can play it like this, no problem at all. So what do you think about lossless scaling? What do you think about lossless scaling on a Steam Deck? Do you like it? Write me in the comments below, I'm eager to know. And on this note, subscribe, like, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.